It's that discipline of, God, I'm going to worship you anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you first anyway.
Yeah.
And even if it's inconvenient, even if it isn't easy, again, even if I'm sweating, bleeding, crying, I have to put you first. And that's not like, because I know that I've been at points in my life, especially where you're just like sitting there and you're just asking God to change you. God, change me. God, change me. God, change me. God, change me. And sometimes I picture God being like, then do it. Then get in your word. Then get in community. Then sit in solitude and listen to me when I'm talking to you.
Sure.
Then get in the word and listen to the words that have been on paper for hundreds of years. You want to be changed. I want to change you.
Yeah. Hey, we want to welcome you to another episode of Stoney Sessions. Excited to have on the episode today a friend of mine. We actually have some history together. I mean, we may get into that a little bit, but a friend of mine, Jesse PROSOSKI. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Thank you for approving that. Jesse is our IT guy around the church, our guy that we go to fix computers, to fix all things information technology, email. But even deeper than that, Jesse, you have a powerful testimony. And even, beyond that, God's called you to a life of ministry. And that really has become part of your career, I would say, but also like how well and how much you serve even within your local church that you're a part of up in Dryden. And so truly it's a privilege to have you on today, Jesse. I'm excited that for all those that are going to listen or watch, that they'll get to know you a little bit better, know your story, and just get to hear a powerful story of God's faithfulness, over many years of your life. And so we'll get into that in a minute, but figured the best way for people to kind of get to know a little bit about you, whether they like you or not, is by just some rapid fire questions. Okay.
Okay.
So we may or may not even disagree on some of these ourselves. So we're just going to go for it. Okay.
Okay.
Jesse, are you a coffee or a tea kind of a guy?
I'm definitely coffee. Definitely more energy drink than anything.
You are. Yeah.
But coffee or tea, coffee.
Yeah. You're known to carry in a couple energy drinks, like double fisted, as you come in on a Wednesday or Tuesday morning or any day. All right. Are you an early morning or a late night kind of a guy?
I'm definitely more late night. I would much rather, I don't know. I gotta be honest, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I have kids now. I don't know what I am.
Yeah. You're upside down. I know. That's me too. I was just thinking about it. I think again this morning, like I can't wait for the day when I can actually
I want to be like my
choose to go to bed
grandparents.
at like 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock if I wanted to, and not have to like worry about like putting kids to bed and then, maybe get up at 6 or 7 or,
5.
not have to worry about getting kids ready and stuff like that. But anyways, okay. Next one. What's your favorite vacation spot?
Up north.
Okay. Is that like, in my mind, and I know a lot of people disagree with me on this, up north to me is Traverse City. As much as I can, I'm not going any more north of Traverse City. Are you saying up north as in like beyond the bridge up north, or you're just saying like Traverse City, Petoskey?
So for me, up north starts at the Zilwaukee Bridge.
Yeah.
Once you pass the Zilwaukee Bridge, you are now
Bay
up
City
north.
is actually up north to you.
Yeah.
Okay. I got
But
you.
so when I worked construction, I would drive down to Canton and somebody was like, I've got a house up north. And I was like, oh, where at? And they say Leonard.
And now you actually live north of Leonard.
Yep.
So you're up north in Dryden. Okay, so you like up north. That's good. Give me this, because it might be something that I want to, go and purchase. What's your favorite technology gadget? Do you have one?
Not really. I mean,
You're the tech guy.
I don't like tech.
But you don't. Okay. I think you've told me that before. You are a
I
tech guy that does not like tech.
yeah. So I find it necessary to know how to use it and to be able to use it, and then to use it as a tool. That being said, if I could go back and just make it so it never existed, maybe I would.
Yeah.
There's lots of implications with that,
Yeah.
but just as a general like blanket statement, or maybe just like smartphones, maybe just not smartphones.
Yeah, there's a lot of days where I wish for the days of like before cell phones or before smartphones. You're right. Yeah, because when you have a flip phone, it's a little different. Like those days weren't too bad. And when you had to
My
like,
grandpa still has one.
does he?
Yep.
Can he text on it?
He doesn't text.
No.
He just calls.
You remember what texting was like though with a flip phone, right?
I
Where you
had a-
had to like, if you
I had
were
a-
going to do like
I had
a
a
C,
BlackBerry.
you did?
So that was my first phone.
That was
It was
your
a used
first.
BlackBerry.
Okay.
And you would slide up the keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
I never, but it was so, that's the thing is like using the keyboard or trying to get on the internet was so inconvenient.
Yeah.
So it was like if you needed to use the internet, you could.
Yeah.
You could pay for it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But it was just easier to call people.
Yeah. Man, those were the days.
Mm-hmm.
I think I one time tried to show my kids how you used to have to text. Like if you wanted to see, you had to hit the like number 1 button or whatever 3 times. But people were really good at that. Okay, moving on.
Really
Anyways, are you a cat or a dog kind of a man?
Dog.
Dog. Do you have a dog?
I have a mini golden doodle.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
A mini, so it's going to stay smaller. It's not going to get to be like a big
She's
one.
not supposed to get any bigger than 20 pounds.
Okay. Yeah. Any pet peeves? Like, what's your biggest pet peeve? You got one or?
I have quite a few, but
Okay.
my public service announcement to everybody is on 53 between 34 Mile Road and 26 Mile Road. It does not slow down to 55 miles per hour at certain spots just to inconvenience you. Yeah. It is so that other people can get onto the road. And that's why we have so many accidents at those intersections is because people do not slow down.
You sat
to
through
55,
I'm sure.
Yeah. It is not to inconvenience you.
Yeah.
So anytime somebody passes me at those moments going like 80, it is a pet peeve of mine.
I'm gonna believe that you weren't like speaking directly to me on that because sometimes it like I try not to. I try to slow down. I do. Every once in a while, I forget that it does slow down, like up there by 30 mile. But I need to be reminded. So I appreciate that PSA. Good. All right. Well, let's get into getting to know you a little bit more, Jesse. This is very broad, okay, and you can kind of go with it whatever direction you may feel led to. But just tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, start as far back as you want, or give us the most Reader's Digest version if that's where you'd like to go. We're going to get into your story ultimately, but tell us a little bit about yourself, like your family, some of that.
So I've pretty much lived in Dryden my entire life. I was born in Lapeer Regional Hospital. I'm a third generation American. Fun fact, actually, most of my family came through Ellis Island.
Wow. From where?
All over.
Oh, really?
Ireland, when everything was going on with the IRA. My Russian after the fall of the Soviet Union, during the Bolshevik Revolution, when they were, killing Russian Orthodox. My great grandparents, who were Russian Orthodox, came through Ellis Island, stopped in Pennsylvania. The Irish, the Polish.
Okay.
So
did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're a third generation American who's lived in Dryden pretty much your whole life.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Tell us a little bit about like your family. You're married. You said, I think you already said you have 2 kids, boys or girls?
One boy, one girl.
Yeah. How old are they?
My girl is 2. She's going to be 3. And then my son is 1.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. I remember those days. What that was like. All right. What would, can you think of anything like if you were to mention it that like something that if you told people they'd be surprised about you? Anything that comes to mind?
I guess a lot. So like I said, I lived in Dryden my whole life. I was not raised in a Christian family. My dad was an abusive alcoholic. He left when I was 10 years old. We lived in that house until my dad broke in one night or one day. I don't know. I don't think we were there when it happened. And then we moved in with my grandparents. Then we moved out one more time and then we moved back. But I pretty much lived with my grandparents most of my childhood. And then pretty much from that point on, just kind of lived a normal, non-Christian, but American life up to that point. I was pretty much raised by my grandparents. Just as I became more independent, my mom would become more aloof. Not that I can blame her with everything that she went through. I get it. But as I became more independent, she just became more aloof. But I got through high school, and I struggled with my weight pretty much all throughout school. And then around, I want to say my sophomore, junior year, I'd finally committed and gotten into shape. I'd lost 200 pounds,
Wow.
Running, lifting, football, track, powerlifting, everything.
Wow.
And then I remember I went on a couple dates with this girl, and then nothing crazy. I still kick myself for this, but she basically said, I don't want to go out with you anymore. And I took that as, oh, I'm not good enough. Okay, that's what it is.
Okay.
So then that's when I developed anorexia. I was that summer, I want to say of like 2018, I was 6'1", 130 pounds.
Wow.
Which is very, very, very tiny.
Yeah.
It got to the point where my room was in the basement. I couldn't get up the stairs. I missed like a month of school.
Wow.
My buddy Al, who you met, he came to check on me one day, and he was like, dude, what's going on? And then towards the end of that summer, life's crazy. But I started dating this other girl. And then I flipped the other way, where I went from full anorexia to full binge eating purge disorder, which is basically eat and then purge in whatever way that you can. But that started because I tore my ACL playing football. About 2 weeks into the preseason, I tore my ACL, and it's just like it's senior year, and I get it. And this is where, when I work with students, I get that's like when you are that age, like some of the littlest, I don't want to say the littlest things, but it just seems like your life is over. I'm like, I can't play football now. I can't do powerlifting my senior year. What's the point type deal. But I'd always had depressive episodes, not always, but like starting like back in 6th grade. But then this is where, at this point, with all the outside stuff culminating, that's when it got really, really bad. And I kind of just struggled through my senior year till I graduated. I started drinking. I started self-harm, cutting and burning, and just got to a point where I was like, really, really hated myself.
Yeah.
And just like you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I hate you.
Wow. Yeah.
Type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Things
No,
that would surprise
I mean,
people.
yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sure probably, well, most people, especially around Stoney, would never know that about you. I appreciate you being so transparent and honest and vulnerable. So when did things start to change a little bit? I mean, this kind of gets more into like your Jesus story, like your testimony, because again, until you shared that, I didn't even realize that about you. Okay. So, I mean, I've only ever really known the Jesse that's connected to a church that I used to pastor at 20 miles up the road, who's very active serving in ministry, very connected to your local church, on the worship, leading the worship team, very involved in just a lot of different areas, youth ministry. So some things like that. When was it that you first started taking your faith seriously? Like, when did that even become something on your radar, like faith in Jesus?
Yeah. So I was in a band in high school with 2 of my friends. And by the time that we graduated, they told me that they didn't want to play in the band anymore because they played in a church band.
Okay.
And like, but you can come play guitar with us. And I was like, I don't want to do that. That's lame. Like I'm very much just like,
call it what it is.
I'm like, well, that's lame. Like
Church is lame.
I'm like the music is boring. Like there's no guitar solos. There's no riffs. I didn't know about Lincoln Brewster, but it's just like, I'm like, this is really boring, And then after a couple months go by, I'm like, I really miss playing with my friends.
Yeah.
So I took them up on their offer, and I went over there and I started playing guitar. And that's obviously like that's when I got introduced to the church.
Okay.
And I just started hanging around Zach, who was the assistant pastor at the time, and then Pastor Chris, who's the lead pastor.
Yeah.
And went through that summer of like playing guitar at the church, and that's when I went to college.
Okay.
And at this point, like I'm still struggling with all the stuff that I said I was struggling with. So I get to college, and I was at the University of Michigan, and I was awarded, while I was a senior in high school, I was awarded the Hale Scholarship, which is basically a full academic scholarship to the University of Michigan.
Wow.
I got there, and I picked a degree that I didn't even want. Why? I don't know. I still can't tell you why. I didn't know what I was thinking. I really don't know what I was thinking. If you don't, go talk to a guidance counselor at the school. You know, if you're a young person, they know great stuff. But if you don't talk to them, they never know. So I picked engineering.
Okay.
I felt like I owed it to the world to be an engineer because I have these opportunities. With great power comes great responsibility. So I picked an engineering degree. I went to class for like a week at U of M, and I was like, I hate this. So rather than go to the guidance counselor and talk about changing my my degree, I pretty much just stopped going to class altogether for about a month. All the stuff that I was doing still going on, and then eventually dropping out of college and living in my car.
Wow.
Yeah. So then I go back. I'm at the church more often, and I'm still really depressed, and I'm just trying to find ways to distract myself. So I start volunteering in the sports ministry, and the youth ministry is starting back up, and I'm volunteering in that, and the kids ministry, and janitorial work, and the men's group, and pretty much every ministry that was going on at the church, I was getting involved just so I could have something to do. You know, I started working construction for this one company, and from that point pretty much on, I can't keep a job for more than like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
This is just the way that it was. Excuse me. We just had an amazing lunch, and now it wants to come back up. But I pretty much get to that point, and I'm going to all these events. Like, you can't not. They say you are the people that you're around, right?
That's right.
So you start hanging around with a bunch of people that like to run.
Yeah.
You're going to have to become a runner. You hang around a bunch of people who like to lift weights, you're going to end up lifting weights.
True.
You hang around a bunch of people who love Jesus, you kind of come to know Jesus.
Great. Yeah.
So eventually at some point, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm doing all this. I'm volunteering in all these ministries. I attempt suicide the first time in November of 2019. Wow. I get through that kind of by myself. And then the second time around, I'm missing stuff. The first time, and then at some point I went to a New Year's party. Now, I say I drank. I never drank around other people. It's like I would go to parties and like steal drinks while I was there and bring them back home and drink them by myself. It didn't stop me from feeling what I felt. I just didn't care that I felt it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it was. So I go to a party and I'm pretty much drinking for the first time around other people.
Okay.
And it becomes apparent that to other people that I'm hurting myself, that I'm suicidal, and that I have these issues. So they reach out to my friends who are at the church, who then reach out to leadership. So it's literally like a couple days later. They disguise it, I think, as like a worship meeting or whatever. And I get there and we're all sitting down, and Zach looks at me and he goes, "So I hear you like the sauce." And I'm looking at him still with a smile on my face. I'm like, I have no idea what that means. And he says, you have a drinking problem. And I was like, oh. So they're pretty much, I'm just viewing this as nothing but like they're coming after me, right?
Yeah.
So they're asking me questions. I'm kind of answering them, kind of not really. And then I step away from that meeting and I attempt suicide the second time, February 13th of 2020. Valentine's Day had nothing to do with it. It just happened to be that day. And I guess at some point I had called somebody or I'd said something because Zach showed up at the house the next day. He's basically like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And that's when I have to fully come clean. And we have a great conversation. I don't need to give you all the details, but we had a good conversation. And he leaves, and I'm just kind of thinking to myself, and I'm like, or like, I'm not really praying, but I'm just talking to God. I'm like, God, you have to change me or you have to kill me. Is basically what I said.
Wow.
And I guess he decided to change me because I'm still here, right?
That's beautiful, yeah.
So coming from that point, I'm like, I have to decide now. And C.S. Lewis called himself the reluctant convert, and I feel like at this point, I was faced with so much of the truth of God, where I'm like, I have to decide whether I'm going to follow or not. I can't decide whether to not or to believe or not, because I do. I can't not believe. But I have to decide whether I'm going to be all in or not with God.
Wow.
So I get through that. Pastor Chris takes me to this men's event where there were just these really powerful speakers. And they were good. It was mainly men sharing testimonies about stuff that happened in their lives. And I'm like, this is cool, but nothing's like really speaking to me at this point. And as I was getting packed up to leave the last day, I remember one of the group leaders was talking, and somebody had said something along the lines of, well, I don't know, but God's ways are higher than my ways. And this group leader says, well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that God is a taskmaster. Like, he actually loves you. And I don't know why in that moment, just like everything kind of clicked. Not everything, but enough.
Yeah.
And that's when I came home and I decided to be baptized, and I decided to be all in with Jesus at that point.
Yeah.
And that's where we talk about the, like in the Wesleyan Church, like entire sanctification is kind of like one of those things that comes up again and again. And it's like, at what point can it happen? And why is it that certain people are saved from certain things right away, whereas certain people struggle longer?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but what I'm saying is, when I had made that decision to be saved, the temptation of drinking was gone, and the temptation of self-harm was gone.
Wow. Praise the
When
Lord.
I decided to follow Jesus.
Yeah.
But I still struggled with anger, and I still struggled with rage, and I still struggled with all these other emotions tied to it. But I was set free from those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's just a powerful testimony, and truly, I mean, again, just, even being here with you today, hearing this, like, a lot of this is some of the first time I've heard any of this. And yet, like, to know you is to know that you're a man who's all in. Like, you're a man who maybe knows that God has spared you and he's saved you to send you into the mission field, to use you. And, that just seems like what really marks your life, Jesse, is that you're a guy that just wants to serve Jesus, wants to take every opportunity that you can to use any kind of gift you have to, fulfill the mission, to advance the church and your community. And we're grateful for the impact that you're having here at Stoney. Talk to me a little bit about, like, was there a moment where you felt like God was calling you to something more, like as far as like maybe an initial call or a call to ministry? Because I know, just like, this is part of your story, but I know you went out to Arizona, you attended Hillsong College for a time, but tell me a little bit about what that's looked like for you, like when that happened, that you started sensing maybe God was calling you to something more as far as ministry is concerned.
God's funny, Even before I was saved or I was a Christian, I'd had people tell me that I had a pastor's heart.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you say to that? Like, especially when you're not a Christian.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, thank you. But after I was saved, I remember the person who was the worship leader at our church had stepped away kind of like immediately. Nothing bad happened, but it was just like an immediate departure.
Yeah.
And we had a meeting with everybody from the worship team, and Pastor Chris basically asked everybody, who's willing to run planning center? And I was like, I'll do it. And he says, okay, great. You're in charge now. And I was like, I didn't know that this was a trick, but okay. So now I'm put in charge of leading the music ministry.
Wow.
And from that point on, I have more and more people who are kind of speaking over my life, pastoral care. No one ever said you're going to lead a church, and I don't feel that call on me, but I had always heard the terms something along the lines of pastoral heart, a pastoral heart. And I remember I talked with Zach and I talked with Pastor Chris about it for a while, and what Zach had pretty much said to me was, well, he's like, I went to Hillsong College. They've opened a college here in America. The tuition is really cheap. You can go there for a while and see what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I prayed about it. Other people prayed about it. And I decided I wanted to see. I don't know, like, if I still believed on a call for my life at that point, but I decided that I would go and I would check out the college and I'd see what it was about. So I went, I planned a trip, I went down there, and while I was there, I really felt confirmation that somehow this was a part of what God wanted me to do.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided I wanted to pursue pastorship.
Yeah, that's great. So like we'll get into a little bit more of like what ministry looks like for you today, but just to make clear, like you're not in full-time ministry, although, you know, I don't know, you're definitely more than like part-time as far as like the number of hours that you're spending around churches, but even more like dialing it into your local church. So this was the connection that you and I have. I mean, you're from about 20 miles up the road in Dryden, Michigan. There's a church there called Dryden Wesleyan Church. Actually happens to be the first church that I ever pastored at for about 7.5, 8 years. You know, this is a little bit of our like connection, even though we didn't even know it at the time. You used to live like 4 or 5 houses down from where Bethany and I were living, raising our kids at that time, but we didn't ever, like, I don't think at least that our paths ever really crossed. But I know now, Jesse, that you are a very integral part of the ministry of Dryden. The gifts, the skills, the abilities that God's given to you, you know, you're just doing everything you can to bring those back to him and just allow him to use those however. But tell us what like ministry looks like for you today. You've talked about worship ministry and, you know, saying that yes, you would run planning center and that became a worship position for you. But what other areas of ministry are you like helping with up in Dryden currently?
So officially I head up our tech, our music, and our youth, which kind of encompasses a lot of different things. And then on top of that, I just kind of fill gaps. Right now, we recently started a ministry that I'm calling Heart and Home, which is basically just a ministry for us to check in on either volunteers or people who we would consider at risk. So it's mainly the, you know, the elderly people in the congregation who don't really have family who are checking on them or who are able to. That's something new that we're doing. Like I said, I'm mainly just outside of tech and music and youth. I fill gaps. I call people. I check stuff out. Meet with people.
If I'm not mistaken, you've even preached a few times up there, right?
I have. In terms of ordination, I'm just waiting on the date.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Good for you.
I've completed school and interviews and
good for you.
The psych eval. I had to take it twice. I was worried about that, but I guess I passed eventually.
Barely.
And now I'm just waiting on the date.
Oh, that's exciting, man.
So it might be October. Depends if they can squeeze me in.
Yeah.
If not, it won't be until the spring.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I've waited this long.
Be honest with this question. What is it about students that you enjoy? Like, why do you enjoy working with students? And I'm expecting you to say something like, just so you know, like, I don't really enjoy working with students. But if you do, I want to hear that too. Like, what is it that you enjoy about working with students?
They're honest. Like, how many times do you meet with adults and they're just kind of like,
tell you what you want to hear,
or they just kind of like brush you off?
Yeah.
But it's like I've had many great conversations with students where they're just like, they're completely like, I don't believe in this. I don't care about this. I'm like, okay, well, you know, at least now I know, what we're working with. I'm like, then why are you here? You know,
Yeah, for sure.
not being rude, but like, why?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And just being somebody who went through a lot in like those 4 or 5 years, like around like high school and junior high and middle school. I don't know why like that's like the defining period for a lot of people. Like you'll meet people in their 70s and they're still talking about that one touchdown or that one homecoming dance or that one time somebody slipped and fell in the hallway. It's just like those like 4 or 5 years
that's so
for
true.
like tween and youth ministry are very influential for a lot of people. And I maybe I'm biased. I think youth ministry is the most important ministry in the church.
Sure.
It is, because it's not just the future of the church, but it's also the present church, where it's like I can't walk into a high school and start sharing the gospel with people. They're going to call the cops.
Yeah.
But you have the ability to go into spaces that I can't, that I can prepare you to go and share your faith.
Yeah.
Or just serve people or be the salt and light.
Yeah.
And I love getting to be a part of it. Also, it's just different. It's like, what other ministry can you throw dodgeballs at kids?
Thank you for saying that. That was actually one of my favorite parts. Yeah, that's true. Or like get kids to drink like Happy Meal, like milkshakes. You ever done that? Like blended up.
We would do like
Happy
tuna
Meal.
races.
Oh,
so you take
geez.
like the sardine and you put it on the table. No, but you get everybody set up and you're like, guys, we have all these condiments and just go crazy, spray the table, and it's just like hot fudge and mustard and relish. And they're like, haha. I'm like, okay. And then I break out the sardines. Like, what's going on? It's like, you have to race this sardine across the table with your nose.
Oh, geez.
And if you lose, you have to eat it.
Youth ministry is amazing.
You break so many laws.
Yeah. The only time I ever got in trouble with youth ministry, and I say trouble, it wasn't even in Dryden. It was actually, I was speaking to the youth here, and
that's a shame.
I was trying to come up with a good game, not be over the top crazy, but like a good game for the kids to get them excited. And it was a game where you stick like a Skittle up a kid's nose, and then there's a kid laying on the ground, and you have to see who can shoot the Skittle out their nose into the other kid's mouth. Yeah, that didn't go over so well. I still have my job here, of course. I mean, I'm still here. But yeah, stuff with like germs and all that kind of stuff. The parent that was there that night didn't really like it too much, but
and that's
youth group's amazing.
A lot in the last,
few years. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's turn a little bit of a corner. We're going to talk just a little bit here before we end about your actual kind of career more. A lot of times people tend to think that ministry only happens inside like the four walls of a building that we think in our minds is the church. The church is anywhere God's people are, in the marketplace, in the community. And, you've taken your work in the marketplace and really it's become like a ministry. I mean, ultimately that's what got you connected to Stoney. And we're so grateful for all the help and the work and the ways that you serve the Lord, here through even just your career. But tell us a little bit about your IT business. I mean, you started this business. Like, what does that do? Where's that put you? Like, what kind of work do you actually do? Like on a normal Monday, afternoon or, Wednesday morning? Like, what does that look like, your IT business?
Yeah. It's still really small scale. Mainly when I got out of college and I got married and I was looking for work, I knew I liked doing AV and IT. And I was applying to all these places and nobody would hire me. So I said, okay, I'll just do it myself. So I started the business. I made the logo in Canva. I got the LLC and I was ready to go.
Yeah.
And I basically do everything audio, visual, logistics, and information technology. And I primarily focus on small to medium-sized churches where the need is there, but the ability is lacking. And I've visited, it's amazing because I've gotten to visit so many different kinds of churches. And like, it's reassuring to me for like the big C church. I don't know how this is going to go over, but how much we all really have in common in the church and the goals that we all have for the body of Christ. And I just love getting to be able to support ministries in that. Obviously, I don't just do work for churches, but that is the primary work that I do.
That's awesome. And I love that, you make yourself available like that because, I mean, not every church necessarily has an IT person maybe that attends. And especially, smaller churches, for you to be able to step in there and help them in these kinds of ways is great. I mean, in so many ways, like your mission field, on Sunday mornings, it might be the platform, as you're up there leading the church in worship. But then on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, any other day of the week, it could be just behind like a computer screen, fixing an issue that a church is having with their computer system or email or whatever. So, I mean, I love that. That's a great way to use the gifts that God's given to you. Let me ask you this. Do you find any challenges that you faced? And this is like trying to just balance like life. And you've already said you have 2 kids under 3. I mean, your oldest isn't 3 yet.
Mm-hmm.
You have a business, a small IT business you're trying to run. You're extremely committed to serving the Lord, like in your local church. But what are some of the challenges that you'd say you've like maybe faced trying to keep Christ first and all of that? Like wanting to honor the Lord in your business and in ministry. But what are some of those challenges that you've maybe found as you've, tried to step into that?
Yeah. I mean, it's just there's only so many hours in a day, so many days in a week, so many weeks in a year.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think that there's only 52 Sundays in a year.
Yeah, it is.
It feels like there's more.
It does.
But then it's like you go through and you look at all the stuff you've done for a year and you have like 52 hours to show for it, kind of.
It's true.
No, the issue is mainly just time, and I try and take breaks on each one when I can, obviously, except for my family. I don't know how that would work.
Don't try it. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, I was talking to my grandpa a little bit, and I didn't know that like when my mom and my uncle were younger, that there was a time they lived in Washington, that he lived in Indiana for a year working for a plant in Chrysler. He worked, started, and retired with Chrysler.
Yeah.
And there was a year where he just lived in Indiana, and he would come up on the weekends.
Wow.
And I was like, how do you do that?
Yeah. Where do I sign up?
But no. But it's just there's only so much time in a day, and at every day, like something's got to give.
Yeah.
Or I try and keep my focus, but it just feels like every day I'm failing in one area or the other because I can only balance so much between work and ministry and family and school.
Yeah.
And then life doesn't just let you focus on your priorities, because you have the car stops working, you have a family member in the hospital, you have life that just happens.
Yeah.
And the main thing that I've learned, and I wanted to talk about this kind of as we came to the end, was like I still struggle. Like to tell you that I don't have depressive episodes or I don't have hard days would be for me to be lying.
Yeah.
But it's in those days still being able to say that I'm going to worship God anyway. I'm going to trust God anyway.
Yeah.
And that my circumstances don't define God. God defines my circumstances. If you're looking for your bumper sticker slogan for today, there you go. It's like no matter what's going on, like my circumstances don't change who God is and the promises that he's made and the ways that he sought me out. Like I can 100% honestly say that I have everything that I've ever prayed for.
Yeah. Wow.
I can truly say I have everything that I've ever prayed for.
That's good.
So as a church, we've been talking over at DWC, we've been talking a lot about spiritual disciplines, and it's the idea of that word discipline, where it's like, it's do it angry, do it upset, do it tired, do it bleeding, crying, just do it. Not to rip off Nike, but just do it. And I want to read from 1 Corinthians because it relates. 1 Corinthians 9, starting at verse 24, he says, "Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last. But we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone running aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. This is the important part. He says, no, I strike a blow to my body and I make it my slave, that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize.
Yeah.
It's that discipline of, God, I'm going to worship you anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you first anyway.
Yeah.
And even if it's inconvenient, even if it isn't easy, again, even if I'm sweating, bleeding, crying, I have to put you first. And that's not like, because I know that I've been at points in my life, especially where you're just like sitting there and you're just asking God to change you. God, change me. God, change me. God, change me. God, change me. And sometimes I picture God being like, then do it. Then get in your word.
Yeah.
Then get in community. Then sit in solitude and listen to me when I'm talking to you. Sure. Then get in the word and listen to the words that have been on paper for hundreds of years. You want to be changed. I want to change you.
Yeah.
But
that's powerful.
Like, it's like there's like this, like, what does God do? What do we do?
Yeah.
It's like 99.99% God.
Yeah.
And then there's a small 0.01% of us, but it's kind of the catalyst.
Yeah. 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 Wow. Well, I mean, that seems like a good place for us to really wrap this up, Jesse. It's been really good to sit with you, even to be challenged and encouraged by your testimony and your faith. And truly, I sit here today and I appreciate, but I'm also really challenged by just the way that you give your all and your heart to the local church. I want to say that just because, I mean, I know a lot of times people think, well, as a pastor, like as a full-time pastor, like that's what you do during the day. Like, well, some people think we only work on Sundays, but that's what you do during the day. But then I think of a guy like you who, I mean, you have other commitments. You have an IT business that you got going. But then you're so active in just, putting, the gifts that God's given to you, in places in the church that can be employed, not because it's like your job per se, but because you just want to see God use you. And I think that's been a beautiful way that God is redeeming the things, the pain, all the things that you went through, maybe younger in your life. And now, especially in a community like Dryden, for people to maybe have known you at certain different other times of your life, to now see how God is like giving you a platform, giving you a voice, giving you opportunities to glorify his name, because of all the ways that he's been good to you. I just think that's amazing. And I appreciate you being willing to sit down today. And I'm going to close in prayer here and just pray a blessing, for you. But as always, just want to encourage those who might be listening. If you've been encouraged by this, and I truly believe you will have been, just because of some of the areas in which, Jesse's touched upon. But I want to encourage you to share this with someone. Maybe somebody who's struggling, who's gone through some seasons like Jesse's been through. I'd encourage you to share this with someone else. Of course, we're on every platform: YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. I always forget about Amazon, but that's like one of my favorite websites, Amazon. And then as always too, if you don't have a local church that you connect with and you're in the Macomb County area, we would love to encourage you to come make the drive to Stoney Church on the corner of 26 and Jewel. We have services at 9-11, but also throughout the week, there's all kinds of different ministries, different opportunities that happen around this church. And so we'd love to be in touch with you. But I want to close this in prayer, and then we'll say goodbye, okay? Lord, thank you today, God, just for this time together that you've given to Jesse and I. Lord, I thank you for this brother. I thank you for just the ways, God, that you have been faithful in his life in every season, even in the hard days, God, where he was really, trying to just find himself. And before he found you, God, I know that you were chasing after him, and truly you found him. So Lord, I just thank you for the hope that just fills his life, and for the opportunities that you give to him to glorify you, through your local church and through the gifts you've given to him. Lord, I just pray a blessing over his family, for him and his wife, and as they continue to navigate, the season of, parenting young children, balancing life, ministry, marriage, work, all that stuff. God, I just pray you'll give them the time that they need just to have a good handle on that. And just continue to use Jesse, Lord, as he places himself before you and puts himself out there. God, I just pray you'll give him more and more opportunities to extend the mission here on this earth through your local church. Bless him today. And God, I thank you for all of our listeners. God, I pray that this podcast, this episode will encourage them, inspire them, and maybe even challenge them wherever they may be at in their path and in their journey. God, we thank you again for this day, and we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. We're so glad that you're here.
If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself, but share it with a friend and help grow our podcast community.
We'd love to see you this Sunday at Stoney Church, services at 9 or 11 a.m.
We're dropping the next episode next Wednesday at 12 noon.
Hit subscribe so you don't miss it.
Join us then, and until next time, stay inspired.
And see you soon.